Hi there, grade 5 and 6 achievers. It's time for another reading and spelling session. Today for our spelling, we will be exploring word families. The passage that we would be reading is Boat Day on the Essequibo River, taken from the Fun with Language Book 5. Mark Pope Osborne quotes, "Reading is a passport to countless adventures." Reading is a passport to countless adventures. Now, what is meant by the term word families? If you want, we can use a context clue. Since we know that family has to do with a group of people being related by blood, here we can say that the words are related to each other by a part of how they are spelled. To be exact, word families are groups of words that have a common pattern or groups of letters with the same sound. For example, AIN word family includes words such as brain, chain, gain, pain, rain, and so on. We also have ACK word family or ACK. We have back, track, pack, snack, and so on. Today, as we read, we are going to be looking a little more carefully and observe those words with familiar endings that might have other words belonging to that particular word family. So, in this session, you really have to be that great detective that I always encourage you to be. Remember, you are going on an adventure to find word families. As we read, remember to observe those important punctuations. You have the commas, full stops, exclamation marks, question marks, quotation marks, and capital letters. Let's read. Boat Day on the Essequibo River. It was 8:20 on a bright Monday morning. Suddenly a horn sounded, toot toot, while the captain and crew completed last-minute arrangements. Commuters hurriedly crossed the gangway. By 8:30, the MV Berrima left Perica and began the 5-hour journey up the mighty Essequibo River. The water was rough, and I tossed from one side to the next. Luckily, the captain steered skillfully, looking for the sandbanks. We made our first stop at Fort Island. This island was named by the Dutch explorers who invaded Guyana centuries ago. Fort Island is an island I enjoy visiting because I'm always met by curious onlookers. The MV Berrima continued with many more stops along the river like Lanabali and Macauria. Sometimes it stopped in midstream where it was met by paddle boats and boats powered by engines. These boats were used to take passengers and foodstuff ashore. At 1:30, the boat moored at Bartica. Bartica is known as the gateway to the hinterland, and here is where my journey ended. That's our reading passage for today. Now, can you say what the writer's point of view was in that story? Yes, it was written in first-person point of view. If you were paying attention, you would have noticed that the writer continually used the word I, indicating that it was a personal experience of the writer. Where was the story taking place? Again, if you were paying attention to the details, you would have realized that the story started at Perico and it ended at Bartica. However, both locations and all the locations in the story are located on the Essequibo River. Did you enjoy the adventure the writer took us on? I am sure if you have never been on a boat trip, that you are now excited to go on one. I hope that you can definitely have that experience sometime. Now, there are a few words that I would have selected from this passage. I want you to look at each of the words and see if there is any familiar part that you have seen in other words. Our first word is past. Let's look at the last 3 letters in that word, A-S-T. Can you think of other words that are spelled with the same ending? Here I have a few for you. Cast, last, fast, blast. All those words end with A-S-T. So the word family we're looking at there is A-S-T. Our second word, bright. Bright. Let's look at the last 4 letters in that word, I-G-H-T, which gives the song it. Can you think of other words that are spelt with the same ending? Yes, here are a few familiar ones. We have light, flight, height, slight, tight, right, and plight. Again, think of a few more words to add to this list. We have rough. Let's look at the last 4 letters of this word. Can you think of other words that are spelled with the same ending? We have enough, tough, and cough. Now, there are other words spelled with the O-U-G-H, but they give a different sound. Words like though and dough. Please take note of those words and the difference in the sound. Next, we have the word gateway. Here, we are going to look at the AY ending of the word. What other words do we know that belong to the AY family? Can you think of any? Here are the few that I have listed. Stay, sway, delay, hooray, spray, gay, display, and tray. Remember to add your words to the list. Now, there was a term in exclamation, toot toot. For this, we look at the OOT ending. Not a very familiar ending that we would often use or see, but there are some words that you might surely know. I have a few listed here for you. Root, shoot, loot, and moot. And finally, we have the word crew, for which we look at the EW ending. Some other words with the EW ending, we have few, new, grew, Jew, shrew, and Jew. Well, my pupils, there we had our lesson on word family. Remember, word families are groups of words that have a common pattern or group of letters with the same sound. For example, I gave you the AIN word family, which includes words such as brain, chain, gain, pain, rain, and there are many others. And the ACK word family, which includes words such as pack, track, shack, snack. For the passage we read today, We identified words with these endings and looked for other words that belong to that same word family. We had AST, IGHT, OUGH, AY, OOT, and EW. Your homework activity is to look for other words belonging to these word families, or you can look for other word families. Remember what Mark Pope Osborne said, reading is the passport to countless adventures. Once again, I am Miss Shamsuddin saying goodbye.